Hi, and welcome to the Simple Logistics channel. Today I want to talk with you about some news, some developments in the logistics world. The first news that I want to discuss is about the Japanese government plans of phasing out the sales of internal combustion vehicles beginning 2035. So after 2035, the Japanese government, according to those plans, we would only allow the sales and the assembly of electric and hybrid vehicles. And overall, I consider these good news. Other governments have done something similar. The pressure to make those changes are coming from the Paris climate deal. So most governments, most countries have pledged to reduce their carbon emissions or their emission of greenhouse gas, and this is the best approach to reduce those emissions. So Europe has already done something similar. Most European countries will ban the sales of fossil fuel vehicles by 2030, 2035. And most vehicle companies are adjusting to that reality. Freight vehicles, they will pick up more slowly. The electrification will happen also for cargo trucks, for example, big trucks, class 9 and so forth, but it will be slower. It is good that the first effort is into this direction for passenger vehicles, because sales of passenger vehicles has a lot of scale. These should reduce prices or help drive prices down, especially of batteries, due to the sheer scale that this industry is going to have beginning now, 2021. Tesla just announced a few days ago that they reached a milestone of assembling 500,000 electric vehicles last year. So we are already seeing some scale production of electric cars. It's not just a niche anymore. These are not prototypes. Uh, these are not luxury cars anymore, and the scale is bringing costs down. So when we need to phase out these big cargo vehicles, the technology will be mature for electric drivetrains, and batteries will have much more efficient batteries with larger capacity and lower cost. So this is overall a very welcome news, very welcome development, and of course, on the sustainability, the environmental side is also very, very important. The other news that I want to discuss today is also comes also from Japan. Toyota and Hitachi and Japan Rail have been working on developing hydrogen-powered train. I think it's more of technology demonstrator. These, I think, will not get to mass production. And why is that? This train is an application of the cell fuel technology that Toyota and Honda and other Japanese automakers have been developing for passenger cars for years now. And the technology is somewhat mature, so there are no issues with the technology of the fuel cell itself. There are not big issues for the technology of storing hydrogen. Of course, it needs a lot of pressure if you want to store the cryogenic tank. There is the problem of the temperature, but those are really not big issues with today's technology. What I see that is not very efficient about this is that most railways everywhere in the world are already electrified. So most trains today are electric, especially in Japan, Europe. Most trains are electric. So why put hydrogen and an explosive fuel into a train, even if it is a freight train? It doesn't, in my mind, it doesn't make sense. As trains are particularly also not very affected by weight restrictions as aircraft or cars or passenger cars. I would put some lead acid batteries in the train just in case you have some lack of electricity in at some point during the travel, just as a emergency energy reserve. And I would use electrified railways everywhere. So you don't need to convert electricity to hydrogen through electrolysis and then hydrogen to electricity back to power an electric motor in the train. In my mind, it doesn't make sense. So some people might argue that by using hydrogen, you can produce hydrogen during off-peak hours for electricity consumption. So electricity that would be somehow wasted early morning hours or during very late night hours when residential consumption is not that high, industrial consumption is not that high. You can use that, say, available electricity capacity to break down seawater through electrolysis and create hydrogen, green hydrogen for powering these vehicles. I think that idea is okay for aircraft. Really a fan of a hydrogen powered aircraft. But for trains, I think, as I mentioned, I don't see that as a big advantage. You can use these available capacity or these off-peak hours to somehow store electricity, either in lithium-ion batteries or by gravity, by pumping water to high reservoirs. When it's peak time, you use that water reservoir as a hydropower station. So there are several other ways to store electricity when you have excess production of renewable sources, and you don't need necessarily to produce hydrogen and use it in trains, for example. So I don't think that is the best use of hydrogen, but let's see where technology is going to lead us. Anyway, what we are seeing worldwide is more and more interest in developing clean solutions for transport, and we see more effort from governments everywhere to legislate and put those clean solutions at work and replace especially the oil and coal and these dirty sources of energy for cleaner energy and cleaner transportation systems. So we are seeing now more than ever electrification in the transportation market and other creative solutions. For example, in sea transportation, we are seeing a lot of use of wind to reduce the use of oil and other fuels. We are seeing more interest everywhere in replacing fossil fuels for other sources of energy. This is a very good trend, and we should keep looking out for these technology changes. I think they will happen a lot faster than we most people imagine, because not only the governments have these pledges that they made during the Paris deal, climate accord, but also there is a lot of pressure from civil society for these changes to occur. And once you have the right mass production, prices go down, and these technologies will be available much faster, and they will be adopted, have mass adoption much faster than we expect. So it will be interesting to see how these things play out in 2021 and beyond. Okay, thank you for watching our channel. Please be back for other videos like this. If you like, click the like button and subscribe. Thank you. Bye.